Hello everybody, this is Jeannie Cooker from Create with Jeannie. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator and I have been for about the last 18 years. And a couple months ago I started doing Facebook Lives and I am here to do another one today. So almost every Friday I come on at 4 o'clock and I share tips, creative projects and try and inspire you to get your paper out, get your stamps out, and start creating some projects. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes as people come on. Now, if you may be watching me live, or you may be joining me later on. I know 4 o'clock is a different time, especially on a Friday. But luckily with Facebook, my post will be here, and you can come back and watch it whenever you would like. So if you happen to join on, just leave a message of where you're watching from, whether it's another state, another city, anywhere you are. Just kind of leave a message. I like to get to know everyone and where they're coming from, and maybe even where they heard about my page. So as you can see here on my table, I have the hand pen stamp set. It's one of my favorites. I've really enjoyed doing a lot of projects with that. Now it also has a coordinating die set, which is this one right here. There is a little die that's out of there that I'm using today, so I have that. But as a bundle, you always save 10% if you purchase them together. And one of the neat things about the hand pen set is that it comes with a whole suite of products. One of those is this designer series paper here, which I love. I love the colors in it. It's just bright and cheery. And I love that they have like a floral print, and then the other side is more monochromatic one. And they also really blend well when you're adding some of them together. So like these three right here go really well with the lavender, the daffodil, and that with the paper. So I think those look really great together. And I'm going to pull a few more that I really like together. These three right here, we have the garden green, and then we have the misty moonlight in here, and then the pale papaya. So those three really go well together. And then I pulled out, so it must be somewhere else. There's a pink sheet, I don't see it here, but these two right here with the mint macaron and then the pinks and the peaches and stuff, I think are really, really pretty. So I'm going to pull those aside, and then I'm going to grab my catalog and just show you the page that has the suite. So here it is here. What I love about the Stampin' Up catalog is there are endless pictures, just so many different ideas. On this side here, there's just a lot of samples for you. Lots of great ideas. Hi Karen, hi Rhonda, thank you guys for joining me. And on this page over here, it's showing the stamp set. And then up here in the corner are some memory and more cards, which I love, and always a little creative tip right here in that corner. Down here, I'm going to pull the catalog up a little bit so you can see the bottom. Down here along the bottom, it shows that it is a bundle with the dies and the stamp set, and you would save 10%, which is awesome. And now I'm going to skip over here. Whoops, I went too far. There we go. Pull this back down a little bit. And I had mentioned the Memory and More cards, and those are right here. I love the pack of Memory and More cards. They come with about 60 of the small cards, I believe, and 36 of the large. It's such a great price. They're $10. They also have 4 sheets of stickers, and later on at the end, I'm going to share with you a couple projects I created with those. It also comes with some coordinating envelopes that you can get too. So whether you're using the cards or the stamp set and designer series paper, these are both great add-ons that you might want to grab. All right, so let's get started. So today I am going to share with you a card, and it is this one right here. I have some designer series paper in the background, and then here I have the stamp and the die cut I'm using right there, and a little sentiment. And I added in some of these Genial Gems. I have some of our Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. And then I am using these 3 ink colors. So we have Mint Macaron, Highland Heather, and So Saffron. So those are the colors we'll be using, a few of the little extra pieces. And our card, I'm actually gonna stick my card right up there. Now, if you're interested in placing an order with, or if you see anything that you like today, I have a host code going now through June 30th. And after I do my Facebook Live, I'm going to post the products that I'm using. So they'll be in the same link as the video is. So I'm going to scooch that up just a little bit there now. And let's get our pieces out. All right. One other thing I am going to be using are some of our square vellum doilies. They're great to use as a whole, the whole piece, or you can cut them up and use them in smaller pieces too. They're just a great little add-on to go. And you get 24 of those in a pack, which is a great, great deal. All right. So this is our card base, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. There we go. Next, we have a white layer here. This one is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and it's going, whoops, flying cardstock. It is going to go on top here. And then we have a piece of our Highland Heather, and this one is 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. So no need to write those down really fast. You'll be just fine because I am going to actually add the dimensions afterwards. We have 4 smaller pieces of the Designer Series paper, and they are each 1 inch by 3 3/8 inch. And then I have a piece that is about 5.5 by 2.5 inches, something like that. And we're going to do something with our envelope afterwards. All right, so let's get the basic part of our card going first. I am going to adhere down my Highland Heather to my Whisper White here. Not Whisper White anymore, it's called Basic White, but when you've said the same name for about 18 years, it's hard to change it. All right, we are going to add these strips, these 1 inch strips. Hi Reba, thanks for joining. And I'm going to add them, I'm going to start up here at the top and leave a little bit of an area there on the top. And then I'm going to come down to the bottom and I'm going to add another one. So I'm just going to put it in there like that. I'm going to add this one that has some yellow in there. And I'm just spacing it out a little bit. It doesn't make that, much difference because we are going to put some layers on top of this. It's just to kind of give us some color in the background. All right, so we have those pieces there. And then I'm going to take my doily, just put some adhesive right here, and I'm going to lay that on there just like that. I'm kind of doing the base first, and then I'm going to be doing the Stamparatus and showing you how to do a 2-step stamp with the Stamparatus, which I think is going to be really fun. I know for me it saves a lot of time, and I'm also able to save a lot of my scraps that I have from other projects and use those to die cut out. So I'll show you how I do that. So here I just added a simple bow off to the left, and then I'm going to add some dimensionals on the back. I think this card, as a basic card, it's a great layout that you can use over and over again with all different stamp sets, different Designer Series paper, or you could even use our cardstock and stamp some images like color on color and use those as a strip. So you can really just have some fun with it. I like basic layouts I can use over and over again. All right, so there is our base. I'm going to set that aside now. And I am going to bring in my Stamparatus and show you what I have done here. Let me get these apart. There we go. All right. So I took a piece of white, and my magnets are going to stick to that, but I took a piece of white cardstock and I die cut this out. Okay. So you get the idea. My magnets are going crazy on me. Okay, so I'm going to take the magnets off. I took a piece and I die cut it out like this. And then I laid it down on here. I took my stamp set. Actually, I can do it because I can just put it right in here. I took my stamp set and I fit it right into that opening. And then I laid my Stamparatus down. And now I'm able to pick that up. So let me bring in my mini cut and emboss machine here. And I want to make sure you can see. Yes, you can. All right. So now I have my base plate, and then I have my layer. And you'll notice, so I'm going to flip that over. My base plate has the number 1. So we know we need 1, and we're going to need 2s. So this is a 2. I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to take my paper and my die and set that on there just like that. And then I'm going to take my second layer. And something I found that helps is if we have these 2 right here matching up, and then this one that goes on top is going to go just a little bit further. So it's hanging off probably about a 1/2 inch up there. Now when I go to feed it through, it seems like it picks it up really easily and then just pulls it right on through. I do have my regular larger die cut, stamp cut and emboss machine, but I really like using this little one, especially when I'm doing small things like this. Now earlier I said that I really like doing my dies and stamping this way because I can use up a lot of scraps. So I can take all of my small pieces of paper or little narrow edges and I can die cut a whole stack of these. So if I wanted to make 5 birthday cards or 10 announcements or whatever you want to make, you can die cut all of these pieces, and then we're going to go and we're going to stamp them on our Stamparatus. So I do have one more that I'm going to do, and that is this rectangle right here. That comes from one of my favorite die sets. This is a Stitch So Sweetly. It has 6 of the scalloped rectangles, and then it has 4 labels, 2 larger and 2 smaller. So it is a great die set that is a basic that you just would want to have. So I want to have them all, but that one I probably use that I don't know, about every class I teach. I use it at least once. Sometimes I use it a lot more than once, but I do really like it. It's a great basic. All right, let me set this aside. And I am just going to pop that one out. So now we have our 2 die pieces. And now we're going to do some stamping. All right. Let me get those little pieces out. I'm going to fit that right in there. Now, one of the things that's important when you are doing this is if you are going to use paper, you want to use the same paper. So I wouldn't want to have a colored cardstock on the outside and then use the white on the inside. And the reasoning isn't because it's a colored paper versus a white paper. It's the white paper is a little bit thinner, and you want this to be smooth here. You want it to fit in there just right. And the same way you wouldn't want to use our thick white cardstock and thin in here. I find it when it's the same level, it fits in there well and it doesn't really wiggle on you at all. All right, I am going to borrow my stamp set here and slide it underneath. Now, if you don't have a Stamparatus, you may find some of the things I'm doing, they're going to look simple and you're going to want to get one. If you have one and you haven't tried this technique, I hope that you enjoy it. So I'm trying to scoot this over so I get it all in the camera. Maybe I'll move this up just a little bit. Let's see. All right, I think that's a little bit better because I want you to see everything that I'm doing. Now for this card, and with the ink I'm using, you can use either the StazOn or the Memento. I'm using my Memento stamp pad, and I am just tapping. I'm not pressing hard, but I'm just tapping on that image right there. By having this stamp case underneath here, it's giving me support so that it's not like going down like that and then my ink is getting all over. So it just really helps to put something underneath there. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to stamp my image. I'm going to give it a good press. And then I'm going to pull that up. Now some of the color is not quite dark enough. I want it a little bit darker. So now I'm going to re-ink my image, my stamp, and I can go right back on top of that and it's going to stamp in the exact same spot. Now I'm going to lift that and that looks awesome. Everything is right where I want it. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off for just a moment. The Stamparatus does come with 2 different plates. And so you can set them up so that you'll be able to use them in different ways. So this one now has the coloring for my flowers. When you put your plates in, you want to do it straight up and down. You don't want to have it like this and try and pull it out. It kind of gets locked in. So when you lift, you want to lift straight up and you want to put it in straight down. All right, now I'm going to tilt this over to the side. And the reason I took the other one off was because your plates can come off the 2 sides and I wanted it to be coming this way. And so you'll be able to see what I am doing here. All right, so this is the area I'm going to be stamping. It's the larger flower. And I'm going to be using Highland Heather. So again, I'm just tapping. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just tap, 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 tap. And then I'm going to fold this over and it's going to go right in my flower. Now I'm going to peel this one off because I do want to show you how I line that up, and then I can lift it. And if it comes off, that's okay. I'm going to put it right back in there. There we go. So to decide how or where we're going to place that, I'm going to show you here. I'm going to take my image. This is one of our photopolymer, and it has a ridge that kind of goes out down here on the bottom. So you know that's the part that you need to stick to your block or you need to stick to your plexi. So I'm going to take my stamp here and I am going to line that up with my flower. What's neat about the photopolymers, you can see right through, so it definitely makes this a little bit easier than if you have our cling stamp. So now I'm going to just pick that up, and my flower is going to come with it because they are a little sticky, and I'm just going to put that right back down here. See how nice it is to have this template right here? It's perfect because it holds it right in place where it needs to be. Oops, now I'm going to take our So Saffron again. I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. I'm hoping it has enough color on it. Kind of rub it there and lift it, and that looks great. So now I'm going to pull this one off. So I'm not going to do any more right now. I'm going to lift off my plate and I'm going to rotate again. Now another thing you can do when you're doing some of our labels in that is I set it up. I have this corner right here and I know I want my label to go in that corner. I'm going to take my magnet and put it up here. Now I do have several magnets on here. It is important not to let your magnets get close together, because if they get close together, they're going to slam together and they can break. Even if they break, you can still use them. You just use smaller pieces, but it's really best to keep them apart. I didn't show you earlier, but on the back you have a little area that you can store your magnets, which is great. So it has room for 2 magnets. You can order replacement magnets on their own. You can also order additional plates too, which is great. So the plexi plates, if you want more of them, you can order more of them. Sometimes it's nice if you're doing a larger project that you're able to get it all set up and you can use, more than just 4 sides. All right, so now I have my little sentiment right here. I'm going to stamp it here. Probably one of the best things is that you can stamp your sentiments and you know they're going to be straight once you line it up. Another day I'll show you some other techniques on how you can, how you are able to line up your stamps, especially your sentiments and stuff. Since I already did that one ahead of time, I didn't really show you how I did set that up, but I'm going to go ahead and store this on the back now. And I'm going to put my Stamparatus away. And I'm going to bring my pieces back in here. So I have this piece here and I have this one. And you're going to notice that my leaves are not done. One thing I found in the stamp set is there's not a different leaf for the direction these are going. You notice they're a little bit different size, and it doesn't matter. There is this one stamp that is a solid image, and I'm going to use it on all of these. So I'm just going to stamp right here, and because it's a watercolor look, it just goes and fits right in there. And it gives the look that it was the exact right stamp to go there. And it totally might be. I just thought it was different that they weren't exactly lined up. And I know sometimes we want things to be just exact. And this is one of those stamp sets that it's not meant to be exactly. It's a watercolor look and there's supposed to be areas around it. All right, next I'm going to take my die here. I'm going to bring in some more dimensionals. And I'm going to put about 5 on the back. Peel these off. Whoops. And now I can bring this down and layer it on my card. There we go, just like that. And then we have our flower that's ready to go. Our flower is going to come kind of right in here like that. So when I put my dimensionals on the back, I want to make sure I'm putting them on this area here, not right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the reason for not putting dimensionals on that piece that's hanging over is that this already has a dimensional under it. So if I was to put 1, it's going to pull my flower down. Now I could put 2 there, but there's no real need. This is going to hold it just fine. I'm trying to fit that in just kind of around where my words are. And now I'm going to bring in some of my gems, and I'm going to be using my Take Your Pick tool. Favorite tool. I've used it a lot, so if you've been watching on Fridays, you probably have seen it. This end right here has a little putty. It screws out, and then there's replacement ones. So once your putty is all gone, you just put a new one in. The other end, it has this pointed part right here, which is great for poking. If you have dies you need to poke a hole out, like, was there another hole in here I missed? No. But there were these like little holes right here, so those would be perfect. You can just poke with that. On the other side is a spatula. It's very thin. So if you have some dies that are larger, you can just shovel it up like that. So you can get it just like that, and then you can lay it down. We can get a smaller one. Whoops. And I can lay that down there. And then when I want to use the other end, which is the putty one, I can just put the putty tip on it and I give it a little push. Whoops. Come on. It's stuck on there pretty good. And then you give it a little push and then it usually will stick right there on the end. So I'm going to use the other color right there on there. Let's see, does it need, what the heck? I'm going to add another, use a little gem down there. Maybe one of the little yellow ones too. You can never have too many gems. Okay, so here is our basic card. Now another thing that we can do, I'm just gonna grab over there, is we have our Wink of Stella. I wasn't planning on using this, but I do love adding some shimmer. So on here, I'm just going to go ahead and add some Wink of Stella onto my Highland Heather bigger flower, like that. And maybe on my leaves, I'm just gonna add a little down the vein. Let's see if you guys can see that. And I don't know if you guys can see that in the little shimmer up here, but it adds a lot. It's just something simple and it's a quick and easy little addition that you can add to things. All right, so our envelope. I am going to get some adhesive and I'm going to run it right along here like that. And then I'm going to put my Designer Series paper right on top. And then I can come to the back side and I'll trim this off. just like that. Hi Liz, hi Kit, thank you guys so much for joining. I've been showing a lot of the hand pin. I'm definitely going to need to switch over and do something else. All right, I think I want to add a picture or the flowers on my envelope. So let's see if I can figure this out. Let me come back in here, move that over. I'm going to take my flower. There we go. And I'm going to do a little guesstimating here. Let's see. I think I want my flower in that corner. So as you can see, I'm just eyeballing this. I think I'm going to go about right there. I think I'm going to add one more magnet too, just to be safe. Right there. So let's go back in reverse here. I'm going to grab my stamp set and put it right there. I'm going to grab that black ink pad. One of the things that are great about the Stampin' Up! Envelopes is they're nice and smooth and they take our ink great. I just love how they take our ink and give a nice clean image. All right, I'm gonna give it a little bit more ink. Again, I'm just tapping. I'm not doing it. I don't want the ink to squeeze over and be on the sides. All right, that looks good. So let's remove that one. And now I'm going to do these two. So I'm going to have to reset this up because I moved it. So I'm just going to lay that on top just like that. I'm going to take my plate, press it down, lift, and then grab my Highland Heather pad. And whoops, I didn't mean to slam that down like that, but there we go. Yep, that looks good. Now I'm going to turn it around and we're going to do that flower. So we're going to get that little yellow flower here. There we go. Let's pick that up. Having the black outlined image, it does make it pretty easy when you are trying to line up because you can see it a lot better. We're going to need to do one where we're going to do color on color without that one of these times. All right, so now that one is all done. And then we'll take these magnets and put that one on the back. Slide that one over. All right. So here's our flower. Let's add a few leaves on there. Oops, I probably can't see as well if I do that. Okay, so I'm going to fill in my leaves. Just like that. So now we have our cute envelope and our card, and it coordinates together. Hope you guys like that. I think it's kind of a fun way to use a Stamparatus. As I said, if you wanted to make multiples of this card, you could just keep stamping, inking, and you get all of your dies done, and then you could go back and put them all together. All right, I'll bring that back on in just a minute, but I did want to share with you a couple projects that I made last night in an online workshop. And this is using some of the designer series paper and some of the Memory and More cards. So this card is 3 1/4 by 6 1/4, and I used some of our Memory and More basic white envelopes and cards. So I just trimmed this off right here. And then on the back side, I trimmed off the envelope and shortened it up. It was the size of this one. So as you can see, I trimmed that off about 1 inch right here on the bottom. So I was able to adjust it to go with my new card size. All right, this is another card that I did right here. And this is using some of the designer series paper. And then these are both Memory and More cards. This was another Memory and More card that I cut. And then right here is some designer series paper. And this ribbon I love. This is our pale papaya. This was our gingham right there. And then one more that I made was this cute little pouch. And this is just made with a 6x6 piece of designer series paper. And then it fits perfect. You can put some candy in here. This is one of our embellishments. And then this is one of the Memory and More cards that I cut the label out and then added a little sticker to pop it up there. So those are just some more fun projects that you can do with the hand-pen designer series paper and bundle, or suite, I should say. All right, so one last thing I'm going to share with you. This new mini catalog is going to be coming out August 1st, and I want to make sure that all of you have one. So if you have placed an order with me in the last year, you're going to get one whether you come to my class in June or July, I'm sorry. I will be handing them out to everyone that attends my class in person. If you're local, you can pick it up from my porch. But if you don't live in the area, I will send one in the mail to you. Now, if you haven't placed an order and you're not on my mailing list, then just message me or leave a comment, and I will contact you and we'll figure out getting you a catalog, because I want to make sure you all have the catalogs in plenty of time before it goes live. All right. Well, I will bring back in that last card that we made. I'm going to set it right here. And I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of your time with me, and I hope that I've inspired you to have some fun with not only the Stamparatus, but with the hand-pinned suite of products. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.